In today's video, we're working on day 25, Stash Dive. Close your eyes and pull 3 random fabrics. Hi, I'm Jackie of Junk Gal 63 Studio, and here we do all things with scrap fabric. One piece, one story, one blessing at a time. Today's quilt block is called Tam's Patch. It looks like this. It was designed by Beth Gutcheon and published in the Perfect Patchwork Primer in 1973. This block only needs 3 fabrics, which makes it perfect for today's challenge. It's beginner friendly, wonderfully scrappy, and a true stash buster. I'm dedicating this block to my cousin Tam. She and I are kindred spirits. Even though we're separated by over 700 miles, every time we're together, it feels like we never missed a beat. I miss her dearly. And this block is a nod to that thread that always holds. For each day in this challenge, a prompt is provided to help spark your ideas. Anything goes. You'll find the free prompt sheet linked in the description box below. I'll make each block 12 inches square, and on the final day, we'll put everything together using the Quilt As You Go method. And remember, no rules, no perfection. Let's get started. All right, eyes closed, deep breath, and dig. We have to dig 3 fabrics out of here. This is the bag that I put all the fabric when I get fabric gifted to me before it gets sorted. Okay, so I picked this one. This one should work. All right, there's a lot of that fabric. All right, going for the bottom again. Let's see what I get. And then I got this one. It has little hearts on it. That should work. There's some contrast there. And let's see. All right, one more. It shouldn't be this hard. Okay, so I've got a hold of something. Okay, let's see what I got. This one. And this is the same. All right, I did okay. These are pretty random. I'm not sure if they match, but we're going with it. So these scraps will live on to another day. Here are the materials you're going to need for this project. You won't even need a pattern because I will give you all the dimensions for the pieces. That's how easy this is. So here's the 3 fabrics I drew out of the bag. So you'll need those. We're going to cut 2 pieces to 6.5 inch squares, and that'll be these 2 pieces. So that would be a medium fabric. If you're using light, medium, or dark, the 6.5 inch squares would be your medium fabric. Then you'll need 4 pieces, 3.5 inch squares, 2 dark and 2 light, and 2 rectangles that are 6.5 inches by 3.5 inches. Those will be your light fabric. I'm going to try to take a black and white photo of these fabrics so that I can see which one will fit in which block. So in my black and white photo, this is showing up as the dark one. This is my light one, and this will be my medium one. So we're going to go with that. If you've ever wondered how to determine with your fabrics what's light, dark, and medium, this is a good way. Take a picture in black and white, and that will give you a great idea. So we're going to go with that. This is dark. This is medium. This will be our light one. And we'll see what we come up with. You'll need your backing fabric. I'm using muslin, 12.5 inches square, and your batting, which is 12.5 inches square. You'll need your rulers. I have my Stripology Squared Mini because none of the blocks are more than 6.5 inches, and I can square off 6.5 inches with this. Rotary cutter, iron and ironing surface, and your basic sewing notions. This was our dark fabric, and we only need 2 of those, and that's these ones, and those are 3.5 inches square. So let me grab some fabric out of here, and I'll just cut off a piece. I may give this a press. All right, let's cut this one. These are for our 2 dark 3.5-inch squares. And I'll just lay that on there. And I want to cut off that fold. And then I need 3.5. And cut here and here. So there are our 2 dark 3.5. Let's cut up our light fabric. So we need 2 rectangles that are 6.5 by 3.5 and 2 squares that are 3.5-inch square. And that's for our light fabric. Some of these are really scrunched up in there. So I'll just cut off a piece and give that a quick press. Okay, so we need 2 6.5 by 3.5 inches. And then we need to cut this to 3.5. There's our 2 rectangles for the light. Then we need 2 3.5 by 3.5, and those are 3. And it looks like these I'll need pressed too. I have all of my pieces cut out. My 2 6.5-inch squares, my 2 6.5 by 3.5-inch rectangles, 2 dark 3.5-inch squares, and 2 light 3.5-inch squares. The next step is to sew our squares together. I've got these sewn together. Next, we'll flip up our rectangles to these and sew those together. And now all we need to do is put this together like a 4-patch. So we'll flip this here, put a pin so we know where to sew, flip this one here, pin, and sew. Next, we're just going to flip these together and sew those together. Nest those seams so they line up. But isn't this the perfect scrap buster? You can make a whole quilt with just different fabrics. Okay, we've got that lined up, and then I have to press that to the other side. And then I think I will pin over here and on this side. There we go. Off to the sewing machine one last time to put this block together. There's our block. Not too shabby, right? I really like it. They're not the colors I would have chosen, but we had to go with what we had. Let's go ahead and get a backing and a piece of batting on this. Batting, and then the backing, and the backing goes right side down. We'll check the back real quick, make sure we're lined up here. We'll put some pins in, and then we'll get this quilted. Let me know, what do you all think of Tam's patch? All right, here is our quilt block. I think it's adorable, and yes, I will be making more quilts from this pattern. I'm just going to put my line on this 6. I've got plenty of room to trim, and that makes me very happy. And I just quilted right around the edges. Nothing fancy, but it really spruced this quilt block right up. Trim over here. And let me bring you up here. And what do you think? Our random fabrics, I think, worked out just fine. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with the Bible verse and a final thought to encourage you. The Bible verse is from 1 John 4, verse 19. We love him because he first loved us. As you stitch today, take a quiet moment to remember that the love we give, whether through quilts, kind words, or simple acts of care, is rooted in a love that began long before us. When we create from a place of gratitude, even the tiniest scrap becomes part of something meaningful. Let the work of your hands remind you that you're held, guided, and deeply loved. Thank you so much for watching, sharing, and commenting. It truly means the world to me. And until the next video, God bless you.